Hey guys, welcome back to the Girl Math podcast. I'm back in my car and the bin bags are gone. I took everything to charity. Wait, I've got gum in my mouth. I need to take that out, otherwise that's going to be really disgustingly irritating. It took me a while to do that, but I took it to Salvation Army in the end. Pickles is sleeping in the back. And I'm in one of my favourite spots that I used to come to a lot of the time. This is a part of my breakup diaries, and today I want to talk about self-love. I've had a lot of self-discovery over the past couple of weeks and I want to share it with you. But the first topic I want to talk about is like getting excited again, because tell me why I cannot contain my excitement at the moment. I don't know what it is, but I'm just excited for life, and I thought I would be literally crying my eyes out by now. I'm feeling so low, but I actually feel really good. I don't know if I'm just going insane or I'm having some kind of mental breakdown. I don't know, maybe I'm just happy. Like, I'm trying to allow myself to be happy. This is a thing. Allowing myself to feel emotions that I'm not used to or haven't felt in a long time is actually really scary, because I haven't felt this level of happy in a while, and you can expect me to be crying in a corner, but I'm not doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously I'll have days, for sure I have days where I'm really sad and really low, but like, that's kind of expected. So yeah, allowing myself to feel the feelings has been a really new feeling for me, and I am really scared. So this is still something I'm learning. And my friend said something really interesting to me. It's like, Corey, you are allowed to feel this way, you know? And I was like, wait, so true. I think it's because I'm worried about letting myself down or being let down, I guess, in life. And I just don't want that to happen. Yeah, I'm very much scared, but in a good way. If that makes sense. Because I said the other week that I just want to enjoy every moment that comes into my life. Like, I wrote something. Should I share it? My life feels like a collection of short stories. Maybe it's because I've never been able to finish a whole book, or maybe it's because I'm in love with the idea of a fresh start. I like to read my stories whilst the tea is still warm and I remain whole in the hearts of others, but often I forget my tea is sitting beside me, untouched, cooling as I get lost in searching for my happy ending. When all is lived, learned, loved and lost, I will be beneath it all. The pivot wasn't about finding the perfect ending. It was about embracing each sentence and writing the rest yourself, even if you have to revisit a few chapters to gain perspective, or brew another cup of tea to spark the next thought. Happily ever after doesn't exist. It's just a desire for peace that remains out of your reach until you are. I can't lie, that was probably the deepest thing I've ever written. Take of that what you will, but I kind of feel like my whole life has been mini stories. And yes, I have never finished a whole book. I will admit, I've never, ever, ever in my life finished a whole book. And that kind of goes for my life, because I've never actually... It's not that I've never been able to finish something. I think I just never give up on people, and I never give up on things until they give up on me. And partly the problem is I need to learn when to close that book when it's not serving me anymore. I think my biggest error has always been, I know deep down when something's no longer serving me, and I know deep down when to stop pursuing someone or something or whatever it is, but for some reason I just don't stop. The selfish version is like, if I stop, I'm always going to think, what if? But then I'm also such a giver to the point where it's like, I want to see you do so well. And it's almost like an achievement. Maybe I mother men too much. I don't know. But I low-key love that trait about myself. But I need to stop being a mum, you know? Like, I think as females, it's in our nature to kind of mother people, because we're going to be a mum. Like, that's in our nature, to be a mum and give birth and literally be a mum. And I don't know, I just have a problem. I have a problem where I will literally make sure that everything is fine. I have a problem with making sure that the person I'm dating is, like, mothered. No, that sounds really wrong. No, like, I don't know, you know what I mean? I need to learn when something is no longer serving me, and that can actually do more harm than good, because I stayed in something that I was so fucking depressed in, and I just should have left sooner, and I don't know why I didn't. Maybe I was scared, maybe it was fear, I don't know, but it got to a point where I was like, I literally don't want to be alive, and this is really concerning. And everyone around me, this is so interesting, okay, because the friends I made in London only ever knew me with someone, and now they're seeing me like back home with my friends from back here, and they're like, Corey, this is like not you, like what the hell, like you're completely different. I'm like, hun, this is me, like I'm back. I'm not gonna lie, I'm back. Like I never used to be one that was really, really sad all the time. Don't get me wrong, yeah, sure, I was sad, but like I wasn't always fucking sad to the point where I was like, I don't know what to do with my life anymore. And it's odd because I'm looking at my life now and I'm like, on paper, this life isn't as good as the life I had in London. But for some reason, I'm so much happier, and it had me thinking everything that I was searching for in London is actually back here. Is literally where I started off with. And I kind of took where I lived for granted a lot of the time because it's actually amazing and I love it. And don't get me wrong, there's things I want to achieve in life and there's things I want to do. But for the most part, this will always be my home and I will always have people here. And it made me realise, doesn't matter where I am in the world, my friends always have me. Like people have been there for me that I wouldn't even imagine to be there for me this time round. And I couldn't be more grateful, honestly, for like my life. And that's where I kind of stand. It just wasn't me. I don't know how to describe it. Like it wasn't me in London. And I'm still trying to differentiate like what it was specifically. But I'm grateful for it nevertheless. Like don't get me wrong. I'm so grateful for that part of my life. But it served me for what it served me. And I don't longer necessarily think that's the best thing for me now. And that's fine. But I think is I'm not going to look back and think, oh, I wish I left sooner. I wish I got out of London sooner. But realistically, it happened the way it happened and I can't change it. Do you know what I mean? Realistically, everything happens for a reason and timing is everything. I've said this before. So yeah, that is basically learning when to close a chapter. And I still don't know when. Like, is it always going to be a thing where I just don't give up on things and people and places and myself to the point where it's like I'm going to be somewhere for a long period of time when I don't need to be? It's like kind of it's like staying somewhere when you're no longer welcome. Like, when do I leave? Like, when is the best time to leave this situation? I'm pretty good at reading social cues, I think. Like, I'm pretty good at being able to read a person or read people or friends or scenarios or rooms where I can kind of match their energy or gauge when to like, if I'm welcome or not. So it's kind of me being a bit stupid, to be honest, by knowing this and still staying. So I only have myself to blame. It's like, if you get into a relationship with someone really toxic, I only have myself to blame for that because I kind of saw the red flags at the beginning and yet I still stayed and yet I still pursued it. And they kept doing things to me and I was just like, this is not what someone that would love me would do. And you know what I mean? Like, I've been in that situation so many times and I don't know why I fucking do it to myself, because that basically comes down to the point where I don't love myself. It's taken me this realization to know that I have not loved myself because I've allowed people like this and things like this into my life. And I've like allowed it for so long. Not only did I allow it once, I let you fool me multiple fucking times. So why? I'm not going to crash out. I'm actually not going to crash out because that's not what I'm here for. But like, I let someone hurt me like more than once, put it that way. And I shouldn't have done that. And like, fool me fucking once, shame on you. Fool me twice, oh my fucking God, shame on me, because I can't do that shit anymore. Quite frankly, like, if you fool me once, yeah, fuck you, go away, don't want to know you anymore, because quite frankly, I don't have the fucking time nor energy for that. And yeah, I think I'm finding a lot of like validation in myself at the moment, which I used to seek validation externally. But like, I couldn't think of anything fucking worse than downloading a dating app right now. That's kind of where I stand. But anyway, self-love. Oh my God, guys, I am in love with music again. I'm finding music. Rap music specifically. I thought it was an end of an era for me, but I think I've spoken about this on the podcast before, but in college era, like 2018 onwards to like 2020 was like the best years of my fucking life in terms of who I was as a person. And I've kind of found that again. I don't really know. Like, I feel like I kind of am finding that again. And I thought I never would. I thought like that part of my life was over. And I'm such a nostalgic person. And when I look back at like the best years of my life, it genuinely was that era. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm probably romanticizing it a bit too much because I was quite sad in that era. And But at the same time, I had the bestest friends around me as well. A part of me is waiting for the impending doom, and I feel like I'm fooling myself because I'm like, is this going to last? Am I going to feel this level of high or happiness for a long time? Probably not, but I'm just going to enjoy it whilst it lasts. I learned that nothing good ever lasts. I mean, as far as I've come to in life right now, I definitely think in my 20s, like, nothing good really ever lasts. I mean, it could be wrong. Someone please prove me wrong. But at the same time, nothing good ever comes easy. So I've got to this point because I've gone through hell and fucking back. I'm not even joking you. I've gone through hell and back to get to this point. And I almost feel a level of like, I don't deserve this happiness. But then I check myself and I'm like, no, I fucking do. Okay, I'm going to be so transparent with you. This year, I think I phoned... Okay, I don't know if this person's even going to watch this because I feel like when you're in a really, really dark point in life, you always end up calling someone that isn't in your immediate close circle. Could be really wrong here. But for me, it's been this way, where I will always call someone that doesn't necessarily know the ins and outs of my whole life, but is in my circle, just not in my close circle, if that makes sense. And I called them up like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I just don't want to be here anymore. I can't do it. People have seen me at my lowest fucking low this year. And it was really hard for me. It's really even hard for me to open up now because I'm just like, I don't even recognize that person that was in that state because I was in that state a lot and it was happening frequently. I want to say it was even a couple months ago. And I was like, I can't actually do this anymore because I'm sick of this weight feeling of not wanting to be here or knowing what I want to do with my life and feeling so lost. And I think you can probably tell as well if you look back at my podcast and like the topics I was talking about and everything, it was really like deep stuff and my mindset of life was completely different, I guess you could say. So I feel like I should have got out of that situation sooner, but I kind of almost needed it to get to where I am now. The reason I've noticed it a lot more is because people have come up to me and been like, Corey, I don't even recognise you right now. You seem so wise and so emotionally there right now, more so than you ever have been. And they always say that I have been anyway, but it's just like, yeah, I think it's because I've done a lot of reflecting on the past year and I don't know, I've genuinely like looked deep within that places that are really tough to look at. And yeah, I wasn't expecting this podcast to get this deep, to be honest with you, but there was so many nights where I was on my own or even in a room full of people and I was like, what is the fucking point? Literally, what is the point in life? Like my thoughts would go places that I wouldn't ever wish upon anyone. But I had to get to that point in order to pivot, because the pivot for me this year in 2024 has genuinely been a mental health battle. And I'm not going to sit here and blame other people, but I can only blame myself. Obviously, other people and situations and scenarios definitely have an impact in the way I was feeling, which directly impacts my mental health, but it's not the reason, if that makes sense, because I am responsible for my own brain and my own thoughts and my own actions. But at the same time, it's like, it's difficult not to hold resentment to people. And I won't ever hold resentment to people because I don't see the fucking point. There's only very limited amount of people that I really don't like in this life. I don't hate anyone. I only hate a very selective few people. I say few, probably one. But I think a lot of it is down to forgiving yourself and not necessarily forgiving others, because you can't control what other people do to you or say to you or act towards you, but you can control how you act towards yourself. And I forgive myself a lot for that year. And I don't hold resentment to anyone. I try not to hold anger, because what does anger realistically do? I mean, you can use it and use it as fuel for other things. But to be honest with you, I'm not naturally an angry person, and I think when I am angry or when I am in a negative light, that's when you know I'm with the wrong people, or I'm in the wrong scenario, because some people will bring out the worst in you, and I've only noticed this recently because I've been around people that bring out the best in me, and I could not be more grateful and happy and seen and heard, and all I want is to be loved in the way that I love. And I think for so long I was loving so hardcore in the way that I'd wanted to be loved, and I wasn't getting it back, and I was just like, this is just so depressing, because I felt like I was giving so much and not getting anything back. But realistically, like, I was just not in the way that I wanted, which is a whole other thing. But yeah, I think I only have myself to blame into getting to these situations. And if you really want to go that deep, it's probably like family trauma, whatever. But I'm not going to get into that today. But yeah, I just think the whole self-love journey is it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I feel like when people say, oh, I'm going to work on myself and I'm going to like try and love myself, it's actually, you have to go through fucking hell and back to get here. Because if I look at the real big picture, learning to love myself hasn't just been over the course of the couple weeks, couple months that I've had to break apart from someone or something, or a whole life, whatever. It's actually been like a year or so of going through literal hell mentally. And I'm not going to sit here and blame one person for that, because that is unfair and that is not true, because there was other multiple things in my environment that I have to take accountability for. But yeah, it's not like, I don't think my self-discovery and self-love came from the breakup. The breakup just exacerbated everything and kind of pushed me to where I needed to be, because I wasn't going to close that fucking door on my own. I needed someone else to do it for me, in a sense. And yeah, I feel like my foot was out the door already, but I just needed that extra push to be like, Corey, you need to go fucking do something with your life. And basically, yeah, to put it bluntly, like, just be me again. Because it was getting to a point where everyone around me was like, we don't know what to do with you anymore, Corey, because you don't want to help yourself at this point. And deep down, I really, really wanted to, but I think it was just really hard, because I genuinely didn't. When you're in that situation and you feel like there's no point in life anymore, and it can be horrible to even like open your eyes in the morning. So I get it. But no one was going to save me, because I didn't want to save myself. And it had to get to a point where I lost everything to be like, you know what, fuck this. I can't live like this anymore. And I couldn't be more thankful for that. And that's why I never hold resentment, because yeah, I was in a fucking shit situation a lot of the time, but it's like, that's what made me me, and that's what made me here now. And I just couldn't be more thankful for it. But I'm never going to let anyone fool me fucking twice, 3 times even. So I find it really, I will find it really hard to let people that have fucked up in my life back in my life again, if that makes sense. I lost a lot of people in 2024, and I've said this, I lost a lot of people in 2024. A lot of people, I guess, saw where I was headed and didn't want to stick around for that, which is fair enough. But at the same time, I was there for them when they were really fucking struggling. So it kind of just didn't feel right to me. So I think that's why I would really struggle to kind of let them back in if they decided they wanted to be friends with me again or what have you. And also, I cut people out that year as well. I fucking distanced myself from so many people because I didn't think there was point in life, and I didn't want to drag other people down. And like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like everyone left me. It was like I actually left a lot of people because I didn't feel like I could bring anything to the table, but also I just felt didn't have the energy to have friends. And yeah, I've never really spoken about that on the podcast, but just know that life gets better. Because if you'd met me even I want to say even a month ago, I would have told you I wouldn't be here today. Like, I would genuinely have told you I would not be here today. And life gets better. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to have bad days and I'm going to have sad days, but I will never let myself get to that point again. And if I do, at least I kind of know what to do in a way. I just need to learn to close a chapter when it no longer serves me. Because I'm sitting here now thinking, because when I left London and I made that first episode, I was like, get me out of this town. I want to go back to London. Even in a few weeks, I've been like, actually, no. Why am I rushing a decision to go back to somewhere that didn't serve me at the time, that was only bringing me down? Why do I want to go back to stress? Why do I want to go back to a mentally traumatizing place? I don't. Like, I need this. Sometimes life gives you things that you need, that you don't necessarily want, but you need, and then you realise it later on down the line. You're like, oh my God, I needed that, and I could not be more grateful. And that is why I said to you, like, nothing ever doesn't work out for you. Like, everything always works out, even if at the time you're like, no, this is the worst thing ever that's happening to me right now. But trust me when I say this, I wanted to like a few months ago, and I'm now here sitting in my car. Yes, it's my first ever car, and there's no AC, there's no heating, the window doesn't work, the clutch needs a new clutch. Like, yes, I'm in a bad situation, right? I barely have any money to my name right now. But I have never been happier. I have nothing, but I've never been happier. Does that make sense? I don't know where I'm going with that, but it can, on paper, things can look really fucking shit. But it's not necessarily about the paper, it's about the pen, and it's what you do with it, which is what I said earlier. Like, you don't have to finish every book you start. You can finish it yourself. If you stop a book midway through and it's at the worst point of the book, close the fucking book, get your pen, get a piece of paper and start writing your own. If you don't like the way it is, write your own fucking book. Because you can't spend your whole life reading and living in other people's stories. Like, it's just not going to happen for you. I spent way too long living in someone else's dream and someone else's story because I was wanting to be that perfect girlfriend or that perfect wife or like that perfect person for that person that wasn't right for me. And it's just so clear. Oh, sorry. I'm just getting so passionate about this topic. And you just have to feed it back into yourself, because at the end of the day, if someone thinks that you're not good enough to keep around, why the fuck would you want them? Like, I want to have someone that knows my value and knows that I'm too good for you to leave me, not only once but twice. You know what I mean? Like, I can't hack that. I'm sorry, I can't. Sometimes you'll be in a situation for a long period of time and you'll be so used to the feeling. And when you get so low and down about yourself, you won't often see a light. And because you won't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you won't really see how your environment is affecting you. I would always say this when I was in London, and I'd always be like, but my environment is the reason I feel this way, my environment. And I was fucking right. Guess what? I was fucking right. And I let other people tell me, no, Corey, that's just an excuse. Do you know what? I let other people tell me how to fucking feel a lot of the time as well. I'm going to crash out if I'm not careful. Like, I'm actually going to be so like this. I'm getting angry thinking about it, which explains my point. I'm not an angry person. I'm only angry because of the situation I was in. Anyway, so I let other people dictate how I felt. I don't know why I did. My fucking fault. Blame myself. But I always said, it's my environment that's making me this way. It's my environment that's making me feel and be this way. And guess fucking what? I was right. But I let someone tell me, no, Corey, that's just an excuse. You're just lazy. You're just this. You're just that. Whoops. If I was to ask anyone that I knew about, am I lazy? Because lazy is such a negative word for me. Even just growing up. Like, I think I've always been misunderstood for being lazy. I'm not lazy. If anything, I'm very fucking hardworking. Like, I have big dreams and goals and I'm always doing something. I'm never not doing anything because I feel guilty if I do nothing. So you can't tell me and tell me that I'm lazy. I don't know why I don't know why when someone tells me I'm lazy really triggers me, but I let someone tell me I was lazy day in and day out. I'm actually gonna not. I'm actually gonna stop there because I'm gonna get mad and I don't want to. And the thing is, this is just a part of healing, and like I'm not mad at the person or people that I've encountered this year at all. I'm not. I don't hold any resentment. I don't hate anyone. I don't have any particular feelings about anyone. It's just I'm angry at myself because I let that happen. And it's not the first fucking time I let that happen either to me. And that's why I'm like, where did I go wrong here? The root cause will be that I didn't love myself fully. That will be the root cause. And also family trauma and whatever. But I just have myself to blame for that. And I'm never going to do that again. At least try not to anyway. But yeah, I just want to keep surrounding myself with my friends and family and people that actually love me for me and not for what I bring to the table or what I don't bring to the table and make me feel shit about it every single fucking day in and day out. Yeah, I just can't be around people like that. But all I want to say is, if you're watching this and you were a part of my life when I didn't want to be here, I am sorry for the most part. Like, I am sorry that you had to witness that and sit through that. But I think it's a part of life in the most fucked up way. Because everyone struggles. We just don't talk about it enough. And yeah, I let someone else dictate my whole life. And I became too dependent on someone else. And I couldn't trust myself and I didn't love myself and I couldn't take care of myself. I told you this before. Like, all I want at the end of the day is happiness for everyone and for people to do what they want to do and be with who they want to be with and just experience life, because life's too short. Quite frankly, life's too short to be in scenarios and situations and people you're with that you don't necessarily like or that don't serve you. So I'll leave you with that. But just know that life gets better, and if you ever need to talk to someone, my DM's always open. You want to know the truth? I don't think your self-love or self-discovery journey ever stops. I think it's something that you have for the rest of your life, and it's just about experiencing everything you can experience as a human. You just want to enjoy and learn and seek knowledge in everything you possibly can, and that's all you can do, quite frankly. If you want to go move to another side of the world, go do it. If you want to go, if you even want to stay in your hometown, like, there's no wrong way of living life. You just have to do it the way you want to do it and not let anyone hold you back, and not live in someone else's dream and do things for you. And that is a big part of self-love, and you can't really go wrong if you do that. So that is what I'll leave you with. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I will be uploading every week, and if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you're followed. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed, and follow the Girl Math Podcast at Girl Math Podcast Instagram, because I post on there regularly. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Goodbye.